lost. Come on. Let's go. Whoa. I want to get her up. Oh, Gordy, you're all just going. Come on, you too much again, you big knucklehead. Come on.
Weekend at Biden's, and that's the angle.